biggest basketball controversies. A silent arena sits in the half-light of early morning. The hardwood floor reflects shadows instead of spotlights. No crowd fills the seats. No music echoes through the rafters. Only the faint hum of electricity and the distant creak of an empty building. At center court, a basketball rests beside a scoreboard frozen in time. Numbers still visible. A final result. But something about it feels incomplete, because not every game ends cleanly. Not every story is accepted. Some moments in basketball do not fade into celebration, they linger. Questioned, replayed, remembered not for what they resolved but for what they unsettled. When the game feels interrupted, basketball is built on trust. Trust in the rules. Trust in the officials. Trust that what happens on the court reflects truth. But sometimes, that trust is shaken, not destroyed, but disturbed. And in those moments, the game feels different. Less certain, more fragile. Because controversy does not come from the game itself. It comes from the space between what happened and what people believe should have happened. The 2002 Western Conference Finals, May 2002. Two teams moving towards something historic. The Sacramento Kings played with rhythm and precision. Fluid offense. Collective movement. A system that felt ahead of its time. Across from them stood the Los Angeles Lakers, defending champions. Anchored by Domantas Sabonis, Kobe Bryant. The series stretched. Tension built. And then came Game 6. Whistles echoed. Fouls accumulated. Momentum shifted, and when the game ended, the result stood but the conversation had just begun. Years later, debates still circled that night. Not because of what was seen, but because of what was felt. The shadow of betting. Tim Donaghy. Some controversies come from within the game. Others come from outside it, but the most unsettling ones blur the line between both. Tim Donaghy, a referee, a figure meant to represent neutrality, authority, fairness. And yet, his involvement in a betting scandal revealed something deeper, that even those entrusted with the game could influence it. The details unfolded slowly. Games questioned, decisions re-examined, trust once assumed now reconsidered, because when the integrity of judgment is challenged, the entire structure feels uncertain. The Malice at the Palace, November 2004. A game between the Indiana Pacers and the Detroit Pistons. The clock winding down. The result nearly decided, and then a moment that shifted everything. A foul, a reaction, a thrown object from the stands, and suddenly, the boundary between players and spectators disappeared. Chaos unfolded. Not controlled. Not contained. The game stopped being a game. It became something else. Something raw, something uncomfortable. The aftermath brought suspensions, changes, reflection. Because basketball had to confront something it rarely acknowledged. That emotion, when unchecked, can cross into something uncontrollable. The decision that changed perception. July 2010. Not a game. Not a play, but a decision. LeBron James announcing his move to the Miami Heat. A televised moment. Carefully constructed, watched by millions. For some, it was empowerment, a player choosing his own path. For others, it felt different. A break from tradition. A shift in balance. The reaction was immediate. Strong. Divided. Because this was not just about basketball, it was about expectation, loyalty, identity, and the role of the athlete in shaping their own future. The unseen lines of the game. Not all controversies are dramatic. Some are quiet, subtle. A missed call, a questionable decision, a moment that could have gone another way. These moments rarely become headlines, but they accumulate. They shape perception. Because basketball, like all human systems, is not perfect. And in that imperfection, controversy finds space. The role of replay and technology. In modern basketball, technology attempts to reduce uncertainty, instant replay, multiple camera angles, detailed analysis. Moments slowed down to reveal truth. But even with clarity, debate remains. Because technology can show what happened, but it cannot always decide what it means. Interpretation still exists. Perspective still matters. And controversy still finds its way into the game. The emotional core of controversy. At its center, controversy is emotional. It is not just disagreement. It is investment. Fans care. Players care. The game matters. And when something feels wrong, that care turns into reaction. Because basketball is not watched passively. It is experienced, felt. And when expectation and reality do not align, emotion fills the gap. The symbol of the frozen scoreboard, the scoreboard at the end of a controversial game, feels different. The numbers remain fixed, final, but they do not always feel complete. Because the outcome may be decided, but the meaning is not. That frozen scoreboard becomes a symbol of closure without certainty, of results without resolution. What controversies reveal? Controversies are not just disruptions, they are reflections. They reveal the complexity of the game, the human element within it, the limitations of systems, the importance of trust. They remind us that basketball is not only physical, it is interpretive, dependent on judgment, on perception, on belief. The game continues. Despite every controversy, the game continues. New seasons begin. New moments unfold. Because basketball is larger than any single event, it absorbs, learns, adapts, and moves forward. But it does not forget. The echoes remain keen and persistent, part of its history. Final reflection. The biggest controversies in basketball are not just about disagreement. They are about meaning, about the tension between what is seen and what is believed. They remind us that even in a structured game, uncertainty exists. That even in a defined system, questions remain. And perhaps that is part of what makes basketball real. Because like life, it is not always clear, not always fair, not always resolved, but always moving. Always unfolding. Always leaving behind moments that stay long after the final buzzer sounds, not because they were perfect, but because they were human.